What's up, y'all? Boots on the ground, man. I like that tune, man. That's like a old school type of tune. I like that joint, man. But y'all know, do you know it's the strange thing? The first time I ever heard about that song, and that's crazy. It wasn't even from the radio. It's from I was watching the Dallas Wings presser, and you had Paige Bueckers and Enrique up there, and they asked a silly question about what music are you listening to right now? What songs are you listening to current? Before a game. And what Paige mentioned besides SZA and a whole bunch of stuff like that had me like, really? She said, Boots on the Ground. And then Enrique was like, yo, yeah, that joint is hot. So I ain't know until then. Eventually I heard it, and I was like, okay, little tune. But anyway, man, Dallas Wings put together their first two-game winning. I don't know if you can call it a streak yet, but the first two back-to-back wins. And this begs the question: have they possibly turned the corner at all in what they're doing over there? And I don't know, but I will say they've done a few good things. I think the toughest move that Coughlin, I think his name is, has made was he put DJ Carrington to the bench, which I don't know if I like it or not. But the early returns on it is okay. You did get a victory, and then they did something that he should have done a long time ago, man. Is that you inserted Isaiah James, the rookie, who was drafted along with Paige. They put her in the starting lineup. Now, what I probably would have done, I probably would keep Dejanay in the starting lineup, but Isaiah James would be like my first player coming off the bench. She might would end up having more closer to starters minutes if she earns it through her play, which she's like real well on her way to do that. She had a career day yesterday. Was it 16 points or 18 points, one or the other? But she was extremely impactful. There were times when the offense was in a lull because right now, Enrique, they got to figure out a way to get her going consistently, throughout the game. But during the time when Paige was well, we'll get to it in a minute, but Enrique got to get her going. But while she was struggling, Isaiah James was really coming through, man. Making some good buckets, some good passes, good defensive effort. I can't really say enough about the way she played. Nalissa Smith, they inserted her back in the starting lineup. I guess what he's looking for is more balance, I suppose. He's not going to touch Enrique. That one he ain't touching. And I'm even surprised he had the heart to even ask Dejanay to go to the bench. But maybe Dejanay just willing to do that like that and knows that she could be a spark. But let me tell you something about that game yesterday, man. Despite Dejanay's, modest scoring output, they don't win that game without her, man. Her effort on them offensive rebounds yesterday was ridiculous, man. Impeccably ridiculous. On the defense she was playing at different times, man. Now I know, and I tell everybody this all the time. It was just I get it, just Connecticut, and Connecticut really put forth a little effort. But Connecticut does with everybody. They put forth effort. They just don't come through the wins. Connecticut has some talent. I mean, you're talking about Marina Mabry, J.C. Sheldon, who's starting to get my attention now. Tina Charles, man, the old head, man. Tina Charles, bruh. Nice. She's the player I see. I see Moses Malone in, man. Anissa Morrow, man, was strong yesterday. Strong, doing what she does. Her rebounds, she's like the little angel, getting them rebounds, some strong little putbacks, and just being tough, man. Saying that she wants to, model her game after Alyssa Thomas. That'd be great if she could develop that playmaking ability and ability to get to the rack and all of those things to go along with her, incredible rebounding. Morrow can do something. But back to, the wings. Paige Bueckers again, solid game. Solid teetering on great, good from the field. I can't say enough about her IQ when it comes to shot selection. She has one of the best shot selection IQs I've seen, especially out of a rookie, man. The mid range is immaculate. Immaculate. And the matchup is coming, y'all. And y'all know what I'm talking about. It's the inevitable. It's the inevitable matchup between Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark. And I can't wait, right? Because what I'm starting to see is some people are starting to come around to what I was saying when it comes to this particular matchup. And this is not to take away from Caitlin Clark, my people, but Paige Bueckers is a better basketball player, okay? It will be made, it will be clarified soon. Y'all do realize that had, say, Paige came out last year, let's assume Caitlin still would have won number one because of, the way last season ended with her, 28 points in college, blah, blah, blah. The dumb reasons people draft people. Let's say she would have won one. Paige absolutely would have been number two, okay? And let's assume Paige has a start similar to the start she's having this year. You do realize she would have been ahead of Caitlin Clark in terms of pretty much in all numbers, to start the season, okay? Now, I don't remember what Caitlin's assist numbers were, but I know pretty much everything took a jump at a certain point in the season. I think Paige would even have better assist numbers at this point. Scoring, without a doubt, she'd be averaging more. She would have had, a better top game, that 35-point game that she had. But at this point, Caitlin did not have those types of performances yet. I think Caitlin's first breakout game was against the Washington Mystics, where I think she scored a 30-piece. I think that was within maybe the first 12 games. But outside of that, man, we were talking about, how she's struggling with defenses, how she guarded 90 feet, how she can't score through contact. This is what we were talking about. We were getting every excuse about how tired she was because she went all the way to the, to the finals, and it was a whole bunch of that. Whereas with Paige Bueckers, none of that is even necessary. Necessary talking. It's just she's just going out there having a hell of a rookie year. Now, what you don't hear is the talk of every week, oh my God, this record is broken and this one and all of that. And the reason is most of those records are really fugazi things that aren't really records. What they are is merely okay, the first time someone did this or the quickest someone did that. Those things aren't really records. You know what I mean? They're just things that people when they're writing up trying to create a Hall of Fame career for someone or an all-star trajectory. What they'll do is just note those things, but they aren't really records. And I kind of don't like the fact they try to present those things as if they are records. So maybe you're not hearing a lot of that stuff. Yeah, they might be. I don't know. I don't look for that stuff because that stuff doesn't do anything for me. But I've already been telling y'all Paige Bueckers was a better player and was going to be a better player. And I think people are starting to see it. You even starting to see more Caitlin Clark fans. What they'll do is this. They'll say, look, it's not important to say who's better than the other, Whereas I beg to differ with that. That's always important because it's sports. The nature of sports is competition. Okay? It's always what you're going to do. They play the same position. They were virtually not the same draft class, but they were the same group coming up out of high school and everything. So they're going to be compared. They're going to be talked about, especially the first time they face each other. And I'm glad that the WNBA didn't make that happen, like the first game or even the fifth game or whatever. They kind of let it marinate for a while. Let Paige Bueckers get her feet wet in the league first, so that what Caitlyn will face won't be a Paige that doesn't, really know what she's doing or in the league, or doesn't know her place on the team, or doesn't. No, you're going to face a Paige Bueckers that has been, properly prepped for the matchup. So that's going to be an awesome matchup. Obviously, Fever they're the better team at the moment. But on any given day, I don't know. Even if you look at last season when the Fever would face Dallas, Enrique would be in her bag, and those would be some really, really good matchups. I remember the one matchup where they had Odyssey Sims and Enrique, and the thing you got to worry about with Enrique is that the final moments of the game, the last 2 minutes of the game. Enrique is one of the most clutch players I've seen, since I've been watching the WNBA, and oh man, this is going to be something else. See, what I already know what's going to happen on offense when Caitlin Clark has the ball. I'm telling you, Paige Bueckers is going to take on that and guard Caitlin Clark. That's going to be the thing. Now the question is, what happens in the reverse when Dallas is on offense, Paige Bueckers is handling the ball. Is Caitlin Clark going to stick Paige Bueckers? This is the question. Is she going to stick Paige Bueckers? That's the question. Because I don't think so. Because if she does, Stephanie White will be sitting there the whole time like, that's the way Stephanie White would be. Every time Caitlin Clark is on Paige Bueckers. It's going to be a beautiful thing, man. It's going to be a beautiful thing. It's amazing, man, how, all of a sudden, you got this rookie in there doing her thing, doing similar things. Their records are pretty much similar at the beginning of the year, so I don't want to hear anything about that. As far as when they first came into the league, the difference is that Caitlin was put in more of an ideal situation. She has a great running mate in the backcourt that can score. Paige does have that with Enrique, but what she lacks is a great big. Leah Boston is a great big. That takes up space down there. Can finish, at an elite clip. When you get her the ball, she plays great defense in the post. Can score in the post. Can do is great in pick and roll. That's what Paige Bueckers is missing. What is interesting though is the Chinese Yuri Lee. I like the way she looked yesterday. Matter of fact, both games. Her minutes though is kind of choppy getting, and defense. I mean, we'll see, but I don't see great defense from Hines Allen and the others either. So that's interesting to see how she'll make them look against, because so far they have a good record since she's been here. Now it could be whatever. I get it was the Valkyries and then the something, but if they can interject her into the lineup well, that's going to be interesting. Leah Boston down there with Lee. That's going to be very interesting, man. And, I'm closely watching how that develops. Personally, I would consider putting Lee in that starting lineup, man. Maybe she slows down the offense, though. But, you got to counter Leah Boston somehow. And I just think 6'7" is 6'7". You can get a 6'7" person like that who can actually stretch the floor. She hit a 3 yesterday. If that coach that knows what he's doing, I think you can do some things, man. And then Alyssa Smith, though. Alyssa Smith, yeah, it's real. She'll be looking to have a good game against the Wings. Against the Fever. I would try to get her the ball to establish her just to see, You know, does she have that type of fire under her belly playing against the fever? Does she really got some get back in her type of thing? Get back energy. If she does, I'll ride her a little bit. It's gonna be a heck of a game, you know. And on the same token, Natasha Howard might be one to get at, you know, some people in Dallas. So I think that thing is set up, man, to be a nice little clash of the young Titans, you know. And so that's all I got, man. You know, let me know what y'all think. Peace out.